This is an auction yard, and this is a Toyota Hilux, moments before I attempted to bring it back to showroom quality.
Something like a wall or something. There's pieces of it. Yeah.
The damage was all on the left side. The fender wall smashed, control arms twisted, but the biggest problem, the chassis leg. It was completely bent. Now we did try an attempt to repair it, and yes, we managed to get it straight, but we wanted to push ourselves and make this 100%. We decided to go all in and replace the entire chassis. It was a massive job, but it had to get done. After giving the chassis a fresh coat of paint to protect it from corrosion, we got stuck into our next job. First, we removed the bin from the Hilux and set it aside. This was clearing out the way to remove the prop shaft, the fuel tank, and the differential. It was just about undoing bolts and disconnecting the electrics. Out. Four bolts I'm taking out there. There, that too. Fuel tank cover, fuel lines. And just like that, the prop shaft and fuel tank were out. Next up, we tackled the differential. To get the differential out, we had to remove the shackles that were holding the leaf springs to the chassis. But once the diff was free, we secured the two wheels back onto the wheel hubs to make it easier to move around. With everything prepped, it was finally ready to send the diff for painting. Another step closer in bringing this Hilux back to life. We got underneath to tackle the front prop shaft. A few bolts later, it was out, and we were ready to move on to the big one, pulling the engine. Now, pulling an engine isn't about just yanking it out. First, we had to disconnect the ECU and push the wiring loom through the dashboard. We also had to remove the power steering reservoir, as well as connections to the battery and the fuse box. We managed to wiggle out the engine and gearbox out of the Hilux. Honestly, it felt like it was fighting us the whole way. One of those jobs where you think it'll take 10 minutes, and an hour later, you are just still at it. At one point, the gearbox got caught on one of the mounts, so we had to stop, readjust the hoist, and give it another go. While inspecting the engine and gearbox, I noticed that the sump was damaged. This was going to be my first time doing a gearbox service. I cracked all of the bolts holding the sump onto the gearbox and loosened them right up. Eventually, until all was undone and the sump came out.
And you can see that bracket is broken. Still damaged.
I removed the damaged oil filter and replaced it with a new one. I managed to wipe the excess residue on the mating surface for the sump to clamp on. Once that was fixed, we could now mount the engine and gearbox to the new freshly painted chassis. I also managed to put on the exhaust shields. All the parts that went for painting had arrived, and now it was time to assemble. The rear differential was first. Now that was done, we could assemble the right and left rear shocks. Once that was done, I managed to put on the handbrake cable and mount the rear cross member on. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and you absolutely destroy the subscribe button. Part 2 is coming soon and it's going to be even crazier. See you in the next one.